Hi Lisa, first time on here for me. Loved your talk on empathy. I watched it last night. I think I might be an empath, been working with someone who really drains me. Any advice on how to tell if I'm an empath? How do you deal with people who aren't? The way that you tell that you're an empath is you know because your whole life you've always felt overly responsible for everybody else's emotions. So like I'll give you an example. So I remember when I was a kid, my mum always used to pack me a really good lunchbox. I was a little bit plumpy, and I always used to have a really nice lunchbox. I had a nice box, and then inside of it I used to have like my sandwich, pack of crisps, sweets, some fruit. And when it came to break time, so in break time we were allowed to, the first break, we were always allowed to have one thing from our packed lunchbox, and I always had crisps, and I always used to get my crisps, potato chips I think for Americans. I always used to get my crisps and I would always be like, oh, you have to share them. And everybody else in the class, like everyone else would be quite stingy and not share. And when somebody asked if they could have my crisps, I always felt sorry for them. I always felt this like empathy for them, like this big compassion, like that they didn't have any food and I did, and I just had to share. So it was always like I'd open my lunchbox, I'd be excited, and I'd be like, I have to share. And it wasn't so much because I'd been taught I had to share, it was because I felt sad that the other person felt sad that they didn't have food. Like I knew that feeling of not having food and being left out, and I just felt sorry for them. But that's just one thing out of many. But it's constant, like not saying no to people because I feel sorry for them, or not telling them they've upset me because I feel sorry for them. And it's like a deep feeling in my body, like I feel compassion for them and I feel sorry for them. I'm not saying it's balanced, like it's something I've had to work on to try and get better at negotiating this world. It's not that I feel sorry for them, I just feel like their feelings, like I feel their heartache. So if I'm talking with someone in a conversation and I don't feel like talking anymore, I feel their discomfort or their hurt. If I say to them I don't want to talk anymore, I feel like sitting in silence. Like as they hurt, I feel it of them, and I feel compassion for them and empathy. Yeah, and not normally empaths have done things for other people, not to get attention or to be liked, but done it because of that reason, that you feel like you feel sorry, you feel sad for the other person if they're hurt or if they're upset, not because you want to be liked or because you want something in return, but simply because you feel their feelings. And that's not a balanced thing necessarily. Like it's really beautiful, but it's also not balanced as well, because we have to all make up boundaries and negotiate the space, and doing something because you feel compassion for someone's not always the best way to act. So say if they're a person that's often dependent on other people doing things for them, then it's most probably not the best thing to help them, it's like enabled helplessness. So you know that you're an empath, and it's so strong. And you go into other people's other rooms. Like yesterday, I went to the shops. And this can happen often when I go shopping, is that I get this uncomfortable feeling in my chest and in my shoulders, and it's not my feeling. It doesn't have an emotion in it. And it's like this tightness, like I almost feel like I'm feeling people's like fear of money, or like longing for things that they can't have or something. I don't know, but that's quite common in big shopping places, like this collective tension. Often empaths can seem a little crazy because they're not confident in what they say or what they feel, because people will often deny to them. So say if you're in a room with someone that's feeling angry and you're an empath, and you can feel that person's angry, and then you try to engage them in conversation and ask them if they're angry. Often other people don't want to reveal their cards of how they feel, so they'll deny it. So an empath is often like reluctant to make absolutes, and maybe quite often easily to manipulate as well. There's like an innocence there, there's like a sweetness there in that, but they're often quite easy to manipulate because they've grown up always, their empathic skills always being denied. So yeah, so let's say you know. And how to deal with it. The best way to deal with it is just really getting to know your body, get to know your body, and realize what it is that your body wants and doesn't want in detail, and have confidence in following what you want. That is the best situation, even if it hurts the other person. Like if you feel like you need to stop talking, then try to have the confidence to say that. Because often an empath won't say that because they don't want to hurt the other person, but try to have confidence in the idea that maybe it's the best thing to happen. Maybe it's worse if you carry on letting them talk or something. Like trust that your body has compassion and empathy and it knows what it's doing. And just really pay attention to what it is your body wants and doesn't want. Like really get used to the subtleties of like when it wants to go forward and when it doesn't. And you notice it by pain and pleasure. Like also, for another example from me, just because it makes it easy giving examples from me because I experienced them. So like I can feel like strongly, like today, I can feel strongly when somebody wants me to do something and I don't want to do it. And it's just, I find now, because I'm so clear and I'm not blaming or I'm not in lots of rage or hatred or like lots of emotions, so it's really hard to detect what's happening. Like I can really feel when I don't want to do something. And then as soon as today I said to the person, I don't want to do this, like it felt like instantly, like my whole sensation in my body changed. Like when we were trying to do it, I began to feel depleted and tired. And then when I said I don't want to do this, I just feel like that was the right thing. That's what the body wanted. And it doesn't always make sense. It takes a lot of bravery to follow it as well. So it's like it's moving your attention. So when you're identified, like totally, your attention predominantly is up here. And then when you have an awakening, often your attention goes all out into the world. So it's like totally empty and there's no sensation of the person left. It's just like everything, and it's miraculous. And then you want to come to rest, where it's like your attention is like predominantly out in everything. So you're everything, but then you also have like a sense of what the body feels, and your attention is predominantly in the body. It listens to thinking, but all the chakras have even amount of attention, and you know what's going on. Thank you for your question.